Louisiana versus all y'all. Jared Roser here with senior quarterback Luke Delafield of the undefeated and top-seeded North DeSoto Griffins, heading back to the state championship game for the second time in 4 years. And that first one in 2022, Luke was the freshman wonderkind quarterback. Now he's the old grizzled veteran leading the Griffins back to Poydras Street, where they'll face the Iowa Yellow Jackets. Luke, how does it feel to be back last week of high school football season in Louisiana, preparing for a trip to the Superdome?
Yeah, I mean it's great to know exactly when your last practice is going to be, to know exactly when your last lift in your weight room is going to be. That's a blessing to be able to know that. You know, a lot of people don't know when theirs is going to be because they don't know when they're going to lose. But I know no matter what, I'm playing my last possible day of high school football, and to be honest with you, I didn't expect anything less with this team we have, with this culture we've built, and so I'm really excited.
What has stood out about this year's team in particular, just where you guys have been able to establish this North DeSoto program to a point where, you know, in 2022, that was the first time y'all had gotten to the Dome, but now there's an expectation that y'all plan to be certainly at least in deep playoff runs every single year, and really to be in these shoes heading back to New Orleans.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. You know, that's why we do this. Coach Dunn has done a really great job building this culture, and you know we've bought into to what he tells us to do because he knows what he's doing. I think this is his 12th time or maybe 13th um, going down there, so he knows what he's doing. We just have bought into it over the years. I've grown up playing with this senior class since we were in the first grade playing flag football, so you know, we all know each other very, very well, and we just like to go out there and get after it. So it's fun.
What do you remember most about, I guess, the lead up to or walking into the Dome or whatever from 2022 that can kind of help you be better prepared this time around, or help you be able to kind of share your memories with some of the younger guys that weren't either weren't playing as big of a role at that point or weren't even a part of the team yet? Just kind of ways that experience can be helpful now a couple of years later.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the greatest experiences of my life when the bus pulls under the stadium and you get out and you walk out on that turf and you see your helmet up there on the big screen. There's nothing like it. It's just the lights are brighter, the stadium's obviously bigger, and it's just awesome. And speaking of the younger guys, I've actually had probably, you know, 5 or 6 guys come up and ask me what it's like, and I'll explain it to them. And it's easy to get, you know, bright eyes when you walk out on that Superdome floor. I know I did when I was a 15-year-old freshman, you know, and so did everybody else. That was the first time we've ever been actually on the field. But these seniors, they got to experience that with me. They didn't get to play, but they were there, so they know what that's like. They know what it's like to go through warm-ups there. It's louder, it's brighter, the stage is bigger, but that's what you want when you're playing in the state championship. So I think we're going to be ready. I think we're going to be prepared, and we're not just going to be satisfied with making it this time. We're there on a business trip.
To go as a freshman, when you wrap that season up, do you get kind of a false sense of, oh, well, we'll just do this again next year? Like, does it start to feel like, well, this can just be, and what has that process been like to kind of recognize through the last couple of years? Okay, this is a challenging thing to do any given year, and we need to really kind of, soak this in and embrace this opportunity to the fullest.
Yeah, so my freshman year, we had a very, very good group of seniors, and they were really, really good. And I think we won our semifinal game like 38-9. And so I'm like, okay, that's really wasn't a nail biter, you know. And then,
Yeah.
you know, we go and we compete with Lutcher in the Dome. You know, if I didn't turn the ball over as much as I did, we probably win that game. Um, but yeah, there was definitely, you know, walking out of there, I'm definitely thinking, hey, I'm going to be back here a few more times. But as you get older and you grow up, you know that quarterfinal games are tough games. They're not just something you roll in there and win. And so I was very blessed as a freshman to have a senior class that knew that, because I didn't know any different, but they did. And so they're like, you know, we're not going to take anything for granted. We're going to go out here and we're going to put our foot on their throat and we're going to win this football game. And, you know, as I've grown up with this senior class now, we all have the same mentality. Like, look, we're playing in the quarterfinals. That does not mean we're fixing to roll in here and win, because we've been in the quarterfinals all 4 years I've been in high school. We've been in the semis 3, so it's kind of expected now, but it's not easy, and we've realized that. So, we're not taking any week for granted, and it's got us to this point. Now we know winning a state championship ain't easy either. We got to go in there and we got to play our brand of football, but we know if we do that, we'll have a very, very good chance.
And now here we are, 10,000 career passing yards later, and everything that has transpired the last few years. But wanted to ask you, kind of offensively, obviously you've got great weapons around you, and folks know your name from, I mean, we've been watching you since that freshman season. You have a great running game that complements you, that you guys can beat teams in a variety of ways. And folks know Kenny Thomas, who just signed with Louisiana Tech. But even in terms of running the ball, you guys have options back there. What have those guys been like to complement some of what you guys are doing through the passing game? And how dangerous do y'all feel that regardless of what an opponent tries to kind of take away, you have those options?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, Kenny and Braylon are great running backs, but that starts up front. We have 4 offensive linemen who are seniors, and they've all played for a few years. And I'll take us up front with anybody. I mean, we played West Monroe, who's a powerhouse, and they're huge up front. When they ran out, they had guys lined up from one pylon of the field all the way to the other. So there was tons of guys there, and they would sub guys in and out who were just as big as their starters, and we're like, what the world? But our offensive line got after them, so that just speaks for itself, and that's why Kenny has so much success, is because when Kenny breaks through the first level, there's really not very many people, not just in Louisiana, but in the nation, that can catch him. I mean, he's a legit, 4.35, so he can roll. But that's just a testament to our offensive line, because they don't get, all the credit and all that stuff. That's not their name in the paper, none of that. But they're really, really, really good. I really can't remember the last time I got sacked, to be honest with you. I'm gonna knock on wood, hope that doesn't happen anymore. But they're very, very good, and we're very blessed to have a group of guys up front like that, because that's where you win big games, is up front.
And this will be your third time seeing these Iowa Yellow Jackets during your career. They, asked Coach, y'all have knocked them out of 2 of the last 3 playoffs as they try to kind of get to this point. What do you remember about those guys, the challenges they present, or what do you see on film as you prepare for this week's game that they all just have to kind of be prepared for and ready to come out on the right side of this one as well?
Yeah, absolutely. They have always been a very, very well coached team. They're very fundamentally sound. They do a good job at what they're trying to do. We've been able, the past couple times we've played them, we've been able to jump out on them early, which is, that always helps against whoever you're playing. So, I think if we can get ahead of them early, that'll help, because they have some phenomenal athletes this year. Like I said, they're always going to be well coached. They're good in the box. They do a lot of stuff to mess with the offensive line. They'll shift before the line. They slant a lot. So, they're very good at what they do, and we're very good at what we do. So that's why we're both playing in the state championship. That's why we're both 13-0, and it's going to be really, really fun. It's going to come down to whoever executes better. I mean, up front, if 4 of our guys, 4 out of the 5 execute on a play, they're going to make the tackle for a 2-yard gain. But if all 5 of our guys can execute, we might break it for a touchdown. So that's, at the end of the day, that's what it's going to come down to, is how many of the 11 guys on every play can execute and do their job. And I think the team that does that the most is going to be the team that wins the state championship.
There you go. It sets up for a great game. Certainly number 1 seed North DeSoto Griffins, number 2 seed Iowa Yellow Jackets. Looking forward to this one for sure. And again, he's senior quarterback Luke Delafield from those Griffins. For Louisiana versus Iowa, I'm Jet Roser. Thank you all for tuning in. And Luke, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to seeing y'all.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.